What's up guys, Eden here, and for the new ones, welcome to the old school team Time Wizard Yu-Gi-Oh channel, the first Time Wizard team from Brazil. Today I'll show you a new way to play Dragon Turbo on Edison Format. Do you like dragons? Do you like draw power, negates, counter traps, or hand traps? So come with me and let's go to the deck profile. So here we are guys, I created this build after I got tired of seeing the same old Dragon Turbo builds. The Turbo version has always been well known for giving OTKs easily and always drawing outs based on the draw power engine present in the deck. Therefore, always very dependent on big monsters on the field or negates like Premature Dragon and White Knight Dragon at first. So, based on the control essence that Disaster version has, I created the definitive build that can deny several interactions from the opponent while increasing game volume on the board, or even buying time for you to give the much feared OTK, ensuring that you won't take any gores or things like that. All of that with counter traps, of course. So let's start showing the monsters. We have 19 monsters in the deck, starting with free Vendalgion, the Dark Dragon Lord. What a name, what a card! Vendalgion is a 11-way dragon monster that can be special summoned from your hand after you negated a card or effect with a counter trap, except during the damage step, okay? And depending what type of card you negated with the counter trap, his second effect will be activated. If you negate a monster effect, target one monster in your graveyard and special summon it. If you negate a spell card, inflict 1500 damage to your opponent. And if you negate a trap card, target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. This is a hand trap dragon toolbox, my friends. We have any ways to play with this card in this deck. Reborning this to extend your plays, give the damage you need to help you in an OTK or just finish your opponent, or out something to play or bait, whatever. I don't think I need to say anything else. Next monster. 3 copies of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Of course, we have to abuse this limited monster in the format. In this build, I like to include the little one Red Eyes Wyvern. 2 copies enough to guarantee Red MD back, especially after resolve Future Fusion, and can be discarded with Divine Wrath or Brionac, that I will show later. If you summon us successfully, being a 1800 normal summon easily. Next, 2 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon and 3 White Stone of Legend. Why only 2 Blue Eyes? I confess in the beginning I thought around 3, and I conclude that this build has a sufficient number of level 8 monsters to resolve a trade. White Stone had to be free because beside of Consonance, it's one of the normal summons of the deck, with a variety of synchro plays. The last dragon in the main deck, of course, free Debris Dragon. Standard into reversion, another Consonance card. 2 Vortex Trooper. In the first attempts with this deck, I missed normal summons and cards that could unbreak my hands. Let's face it guys, any deck can break, especially Dragon Turbo, in any version. So Trooper is a card that helps it and can be a target of that adverse effect. So it can be very useful. The monster and hand trap of the deck gores. Just by using it or his token with White Stone, you can synchro it. Now let's show the spells. 15 spell cards, starting with the Limiteds, Brain Control, Heavstorm, Future Fusion, and Card Destruction. Brain Control is a staple to seal monsters for synchro plays, deal with some opponent dragon monsters, banishing for red MD and etc. Heavy Storm to clean things, Future Fusion to guarantee red MD in circulation, and Blue Eyes in hand, away from that top draws. And of course, card destruction for Unbrick and result even more free super rejuvenation. Free for all those reasons, discard for draw power. As trading being used with Blue Eyes and Vandalion. If you open it without counter traps, it's partly a dead card, so in the worst cases can be a discard for it. Cards of Consonance, using White Stone and Debris as discard. Unfortunately, I didn't find space for Absurd Goblin, and I think it's a card that you aren't obligated to run, since instead you giving LP for your opponent, you can flick with Vandalion's burn effect. And at last, 2 Instant Fusion. To extend single plays, summon Red MD with Darkfire Dragon without losing normal summon, and that is it for the spells. Finally, the traps. Or rather, the counter traps. That's the principal thing of the deck to stop opponent on his turn and trigger Vandalions in hand. PS. At the game 1, your opponent will always ignore the set traps, thinking these are baits, like Reckless Greed, and that is the time for you to surprise him. So 3 mandatory Divine Wrath to stop Kyle's Dad, Brian X, Stardust, Black Rose, Battle Fader, and the most broken thing, it can be activated in damage step. So feel free to stop Recruiter Monsters, Absolute Zero, Gores, Triguedia, Honest, and other things that can get in the way of your play. Another cool thing that the cost is discard 1 card from your hand, so you can discard White Stone, trigger its effect, or even Wyvern if you're already a Red MD Grave, and maybe even serving as the upstart Goblin of the deck without giving life for the opponent. If that turn you activate a set Super Rejuvenation after. Why not? And the final cards, 2 Dark Bribes and 1 Solemn Judgment. So why Dark Bribe? Because besides traps like Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute, it can stop Heavy Storm, Brain Control, Miracle Fusion, cards that can hurt a little. Feel free to try 7 Tools of Abandon too. I run it on side deck against heavy trap decks, and I know it's better pay 1000 LP than giving your opponent draws a card. And about Judgment, I know it might be the most versatile counter in the deck, being able to solve spells and traps, but be careful with Vandalion, because if you negate a summon with it that you can, Vandalion cannot activate in hand, because in that case you negate a summon, not an effect monster activation. If you enjoyed the video so far, don't forget your like and sub to help us do more deck profiles in depth like that. So let's show the extra deck. First, the Fusion Monsters. 5-headed dragon for Future Fusion. I have to confess that the desire to also run Dragon's Mirror in this deck is huge because of it. Ojama Knight, not only because the best card of the deck, besides it's a level 5 monster to make Brown Act with White Stone easily, it can be a target for Debris Dragon too. Dark Fire Dragon to summon Red MD, and Dragonis, the Wicked Knight, if you don't have targets for Debris, and to make both your and opponent's Colossal Fighter always stronger than your Red MD or Vandalion to avoid damage. Now the Synchro Monsters, level 8s, we have Colossal Fighter being one of the walls of the deck, Darkened Dragon to all things, and after I sell my Trident Dragon, since then I started to try Darkened in his place. Stardust Dragon, standard, so the level 7th, Ancient Fire Dragon being another wall and sometimes helping to synchro aid, using its effect to special summon White Stone in hand. Ancient Sacred Wyvern to serve as a kind of out and another wall, since it have the other effect to special summon it after destroyed by battle. Black Rose, staple, and the level 6 Goyo Guardian, Bryonac. This card is very important in Dragon Turbo. And Iron Chain Dragon, being the unique level 6 dragon to synchro summon with Debris. Ally of Justice as the level 5, and Armory Arm to boost or synchro climb for others. As I said, side deck is something very personal to each one, but some of the standard cards you should try are Quackimary Dragon, White Knight Dragon, Lightning Vortex, and especially for this build, some other counter traps like Pulling the Rug, Swallow's Nest, 7-2s, and Dark Illusion. So that's it, guys. Did you like this crazy build I made? So share with your friends and dragon lovers in Yu-Gi-Oh! And comment your opinions down here. Let's innovate the format even more, okay? So see you in the next video and Yu-Gi-Oh! Beyond the Meta.